Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And here's your meme of the day, brought to you by FiveMind.com. Well, just like I've been saying over the last couple of months especially, it's happening. It's really frickin' happening. And it seems to be happening exactly how I said it would. Now, that's not to take a victory lap or pat myself on the back and pretend to be some sort of a genius, because let's be real, the prediction that I made is more so just the most obvious conclusion once the James Comey indictment dropped. It was only a matter of time before the dominoes started to fall. But if you guys watched my James Comey video, I'm sure you remember when I said the next names that need to follow are John Brennan, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page. And well, here we are. We've now got confirmation of investigations, subpoenas, and likely indictments coming out of Florida targeting none other than John Brennan, Peter Strzok, and Lisa Page. Seems like the whole gang of co-conspirators are now finally facing the consequences of their actions. It's frickin' happening, folks. It's payback time. The revenge tour is well underway, and some people might have issues with that little piece of rhetoric there. But no, my friends, this is righteous revenge. This is justice. This is accountability for a clear criminal conspiracy against the President of the United States and, of course, the American people. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Okay, friends, so here it is.
Justice Department prosecutors have just issued a subpoena to former National Intelligence Director James Clapper, a longtime target of President Trump's, and former FBI officials Peter Strzok and Lisa Page have also received subpoenas. Sources telling CNN tonight the prosecutors are now moving to subpoena the former CIA director John Brennan.
Well, Aaron, we know that this action from the Justice Department, it's not done yet. Subpoenas have gone out to people, including Lisa Page, Peter Strzok. You remember their names from the FBI investigation in 2016, 2017, and then intelligence chiefs who are either getting subpoenas or expecting to get subpoenas in the coming days. The former CIA director, John Brennan, the former director of national intelligence, James Clapper. But sources are telling Evan Perez and I that it is dozens of subpoenas that are going out to people in the intelligence world from 2017, that all of these subpoenas are coming from investigators based in the Southern District of Florida. So that's where Mar-a-Lago is, but the connections are a little bit more tenuous to this investigation in 2016. That would be Crossfire Hurricane. That's what it was called within the FBI. And the other thing that we know based on our sources is what these subpoenas are asking for is that investigators want people, these former officials, intelligence officials in the federal government, to turn over documents from a pretty narrow window of time, July 2016 to February 2017, things like their text messages, their emails, their computer files, everything related to an intelligence community assessment report that was produced in 2017 that summed up essentially the basis for investigating Russian interference in the 2016 election, as well as the Trump campaign. It's something Donald Trump has wanted to see looked into again.
A federal grand jury has subpoenaed former CIA Director John Brennan, former FBI officials Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, as well as others. It is part of the Justice Department's investigation into the origins of the Trump-Russia probe.
And of course, while the left is acting all surprised, acting as if these indictments have come out of nowhere, they're surprising, or the president is indicting more of his political opponents, or they're acting completely outraged. None of this is surprising. These are the top intelligence figures and senior FBI top brass who pushed a false narrative post-2016 election. A narrative that was based off of evidence that they purposely manufactured and falsified to launch an investigation against President Trump, to spy on his campaign, then spy on his presidency, which they then tried to use to turn into criminal charges. They tried to impeach him, and then once the whole thing blew up in their face because obviously they couldn't deliver the facts, they ran a propaganda campaign to protect themselves and protect their leakers. This was political warfare engaged against the duly elected president of the United States, and they did it using your tax dollars. They did it while working for federal agencies, using the FBI and the CIA in a corrupt manner to undo an election. The mask is off. This little security state clique ran a propaganda effort, a psychological warfare campaign against the American people. And to add insult to injury, they did it all while claiming to be the guardians of democracy, as they were attempting to sabotage the electoral will of the American people. And now, well, they're about to face consequence. And of course, just as twisted as you might expect from the mainstream media, they seem less concerned with the actual criminal conspiracy and more concerned with defending these absolute deep state clowns. We got MSNBC running a sob story.
A series of subpoenas are being prepared to go out to all kinds of people, in particular asking about how the 2016 or the 2017 intelligence assessment on Russian election interference was prepared. And the thing that's deeply ironic about that to me is I covered the original John Durham investigation, and at the time I was covering the CIA, and so many CIA officers and intelligence officers had to get lawyers, had to pay for lawyers to go in and be interviewed by federal prosecutors about the work that they did in assembling this intelligence assessment. And at the end of the day, in 2023, John Durham released a massive report, and he did not criticize at all the preparation of this intelligence assessment. And this was a man appointed by Bill Barr. This was a Donald Trump appointed special counsel investigation that exhaustively examined all of this and the FBI's Crossfire Hurricane criminal investigation of the same ground and the question of whether the Trump campaign had colluded with Russia. And no major figure was charged with wrongdoing. And now this Justice Department wants to look at all of this again. And, you know, whether they ever file criminal charges, it's going to cause people to have to hire lawyers, to have to go before grand juries, to have to provide records. It's a lot of pain that they are prepared to impose on former government officials and others on it.
Oh no, John Brennan is going to be dealing with financial stress. What a pathetic little pity segment. As if he's some sort of victim now. Oh, he's going to be dealing with a legal case brought against him and he now has to defend himself. Yeah, no Sherlock. It's called potentially committing a massive crime and then having to defend yourself against the charges. I love how they never said that about President Trump, right? When they hit him with fraudulent case after fraudulent case, when he was dealing with tens of millions, maybe even hundreds of millions of dollars in legal fees. No, not a word was spoken then, but now we're supposed to feel bad for John Brennan. Give me a frickin' break. The only thing that matters is the American people getting the answers that they deserve. These individuals should be put under oath. They should have to justify every statement, every decision, show the chain of custody for every leak, explain what happened with that phony FISA warrant, expose all of your supposed sources, defend the Steele dossier. The American people want answers, even if this happened almost 10 years ago at this point. And that's actually another defense that the mainstream media is attempting to run. Ooh, my statute of limitations. Yeah, well, not sure that's going to be a valid defense, as even MSNBC now admits.
There's the theory of an ongoing conspiracy, a statute of limitations for a conspiracy that keeps going and is sort of continuing in nature, runs for 5 years from the last overt act that somebody took to basically execute on that conspiracy or agreement to do something in violation of the law. Again, John Brennan left government more than 5 years ago, but the theory could be that as he has continued to talk, even in his capacity as an analyst, he might be doing something that they would consider criminal.
It was an ongoing conspiracy. Brennan hasn't stopped, meaning the conspiracy is still valid and active today. So much for the statute of limitations. No more crocodile tears for the architects of the dirtiest political frame job in modern American history. Drag it all into the spotlight, and if a criminal conspiracy is identified, then charge them all. The bill is coming due, and I believe justice is about to be served frickin' cold and raw. James Comey, John Brennan, Lisa Page, Peter Strzok, hopefully Hillary Clinton's next to add to the list. Bring the frickin' charges and have them answer to the American people under oath. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.